Good morning, students. Welcome to our grammar session. Today we are going to learn about clauses and its types. First of all, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb. A clause can be a complete sentence or part of a sentence. For example, I like ice cream. Is this a clause? For that, we will check whether it is satisfying all the three conditions that we have seen. Is it a group of words? Yes, it is. Here, I is the subject, like is the verb. So, it has the subject-verb combination. And the whole sentence makes complete meaning by itself. Hence, we can say it is a clause. A clause is either independent or dependent. An independent clause is also known as main clause. Dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause. An independent clause makes complete sense on its own. An independent clause is actually a complete sentence by itself. It doesn't need any other clause for its existence. For example, I saw a girl. Here, I is the subject and saw is the verb. And the whole sentence is giving a complete thought by itself. So, it's an independent clause. Let's have one more example. You may sit. Here, you is the subject and sit is the verb. And the whole sentence is giving a complete thought by itself. So, it's an independent clause. Now, let us understand what is a dependent clause. A dependent clause cannot function on its own because it leaves an idea or thought unfinished. It depends on another clause to make complete sense. It doesn't have a complete thought by itself. For example, who was dancing? Here, who is the subject? And dancing is the verb. And the whole sentence is having a meaning as well. But it's incomplete. Now, let's add a main clause to this clause. I saw a girl. Now, the whole sentence becomes I saw a girl who was dancing. Here, the entire thought is complete with one independent clause and one dependent clause. Let us see one more example. Wherever you like. Here, you is the subject and like is the verb. And the whole sentence is having a meaning as well. But it's incomplete. Now, let's add a main clause to this clause. You may sit. Now, the whole sentence becomes you may sit wherever you like. Here, the entire thought is complete with one independent clause, that is main clause, and one dependent clause, that is subordinate clause. Dependent clauses can further be divided into three types: noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. Let us discuss about them in detail. Noun clause. Noun clause is a group of words which contain a subject and a verb of its own and does the work of a noun. For example, I fear that I will fail. Here, that I will fail is a clause as it is a group of words having subject and verb. And the whole clause is acting as an object of the verb fear. But if you are not sure whether a clause is a noun clause, try replacing it with pronouns. For example, what you baked is delicious. In this example, what you baked is a noun clause. It's actually the subject of the sentence. Let's try to replace it with a pronoun. Let's use it. It is delicious. The sentence still makes sense. This proves that the noun clause what you baked is functioning as a noun. Remember that for a noun clause, you will use the pronoun test. If you can substitute a pronoun for the noun clause and the sentence still makes sense, then the clause is a noun clause. Let us see few more examples. Do you know what time it is? What time it is your noun clause. Let us replace it with it. Do you know it? Tom can invite whomever he chooses. Whomever he chooses is a noun clause. Let us replace it with a pronoun. Tom can invite her. Adjective clause. It is a group of words which contains a subject and a verb of its own, and it acts as an adjective. It answers the adjective questions like what kind, how many, or which one. Now, what does adjective do? They describes noun. So does the adjective clause. For example, he met a girl whose eyes were blue. Here, whose eyes were blue is an adjective clause as it is describing a noun girl. Let us see few more examples. There is a mountain that we are going to climb. Here, that we are going to climb is an adjective clause as it is describing a noun mountain. So children, always remember, adjective clauses almost always come right after the nouns they modify. Adverb clause. Adverb clause is a group of words which contains a subject and predicate of its own and does the work of an adverb. It answers the adverb questions like how, when, where, or why. For example, you may sit wherever you like. Here, wherever you like is an adverb clause as it answers the question where. Where to sit? Wherever you like. Once they saw the car coming, the birds flew away from the road. Here, once they saw the car coming is an adverb clause because it answers the question when. So children, this was all about the clauses. Now I will tell you the trick so that you can easily identify the clauses. For that, you need to remember few keywords. For noun clause, the keywords are what, how, that, who, why. For adjective clause, the keywords are which, who, whose, that, whom. For adverb clause, the keywords are when, where, because, if, until, unless. Now, the trick is that if verb is placed before the keywords, that is subordinating conjunction, then it is a noun clause. If noun is placed before the keywords or subordinating conjunction, then it is an adjective clause. Let us understand this with the help of few examples. I know that you will pass. Here the keyword that is subordinating conjunction is that, and the verb is placed before the subordinating conjunction. So it is a noun clause. She went to special school where she was taught karate. Here the keyword is where, and the noun is placed before the keyword. So it is an adjective clause. This is a doll that I bought yesterday. Here the keyword is that, and the noun is placed before the keyword. So it is an adjective clause. He said that the earth is round. Here the subordinating conjunction is that, and the verb is placed before the subordinating conjunction. So it is a noun clause. As soon as I reached there, they had left. Here the keyword is as soon as. So it is an adverb clause. He confessed that he was guilty. Here the keyword is that, and the verb is placed before the keyword. So it is a noun clause. So children, I hope you understood that if verb is placed before the keywords, then it is a noun clause. If noun is placed before the keywords, then it is an adjective clause. And if a sentence has a subordinating conjunction like unless, because, as soon as, although, though, until, unless, it is an adverb clause.